Hey, YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a live speedrun tutorial, completely not coordinated and all over the place. So I'm probably gonna fumble and maybe miss a couple things, but this route has changed a ton, and I need to update the speedrun tutorial for any percent. So I'm gonna run through that right now. First things first, if you're running on PC, if you're running on console, don't worry about this. Go to your video options. I highly recommend switching to windowed mode for your video settings. The reason being, your game is just gonna be way more stable and a lot less likely to crash. I recommend keeping anti-aliasing on. Keep texture quality high. Do not bring it down to low. If you bring it down to low, your game is just not going to function properly visually. You're not going to be able to see at all during certain sections. Shadow quality you can lower. Brightness adjust however you want. Turn off motion blur and turn off bloom. Some of these are up to preference, but the one big thing is do not change texture quality to low. This game will break. And that's about it. So for any percent, we run the game on easy because it's the fastest, but we want to start the game on hard. And I'll show you why. So the first thing you want to do before you start a run is press new game, go to hard, and then as soon as your game loads in, open the pause menu, go to game options, go down to difficulty, and switch it to easy, and then back out. The reason being, this is going to set up your menu so that it's a lot easier to navigate to that difficulty change when you need it. And we're going to be switching our game back to easy. Another reason you want to do that is because for some reason, the very first load in this game is really slow. But after you've started a file, the game loads really fast. So, yeah, when you're about to do a run, select new game, and time starts as you select your difficulty, which is going to be hard. So select hard, timer starts, skip all these cutscenes, then you're going to be brought into boar hunting.
Perfect day for hunting.
And the first thing you want to do,
First, I need to
just
find
run
the tree.
straight to these trees, carve them. Alright, as soon as you carve those spears, crouch and start searching for a boar, or whatever your respective button is. For me, it's A. And you can do that really fast. Like, I just tapped B and A in rapid succession, and auto's searching. And as soon as you do that, pause the game, options, game options, and then switch to easy. Notice how my cursor is already on difficulty, because we already buffered that. And then you can back out. Okay, now run over here, crouch. Okay, I ran a little bit too long because I'm doing this slow, but so the game's not going to let you search for the boar if you're running, but you have a small window to where you could run a tiny bit, and you could run to about this rock before you have to crouch and the boar despawns. But let me redo that because I messed it up. All right, run over here, crouch. Notice the boar is still being tracked, and walk kind of in this line. And we want to stop right about
on the right track.
Here,
Sure.
where this red plant is. And then,
Come on, little boar.
if you do that right, you want to search once you're here. Once you do that right, the boar is going to spawn over here. If it spawns like over here, you did it wrong. But yeah, you also don't hug the left too much right here when you're tracking the boar, or the next prompt isn't going to pop up. You want to make sure you're close enough to the scent so that the next step happens. So let me run that all back. And as soon as that first boar spawns, you want to just run directly at it and tackle it. Go to hard.
A perfect day for hunting.
Run straight ahead. Change the difficulty.
Smells like water.
Run here. Crouch.
family needs you.
Don't go too far left, because we want to be near that circle that's on my mini-map. Use the mini-map as much as you can.
I'm on the right track. That's for sure.
Search here, and run at the boar.
It's too much noise.
He'll run directly at you. If he spawns over here, he always runs at you. Okay. Another thing you saw me do there, with that QTE. QTEs work kind of weird in this game. If you mash the QTE button on the controller as well as your keyboard, also, I highly recommend using a controller to speedrun this game. Playing this game on keyboard and mouse is very janky. But if you mash the controller and keyboard QTE at the same time, they actually stack. So you'll actually do the QTE faster, which is what I did there. Alright, and as soon as you do that, mash the... For me, it's Y. If you're using an Xbox controller, it's Y. Mash the button to carve the boar. As soon as that animation's over, turn slightly right, face about here. You want to be parallel to this tree, kind of, but to the right of it. And tap A. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. You don't need to hold A to search for a boar. You can just tap it once. Don't hold it down. Just give it a little tap. And if you did that right, the next marker will spawn over here. I took a little too long, so it vanished. Let me see if I can bring it back up. Yeah, okay. If you spawned it to my to the left of where Otto was facing, you did it wrong. And just restart and try again. But you want to walk here. Kind of just follow these footprints. And as soon as you get the prompt, tap A. Another boar is going to spawn directly behind you, and that's what we want. That second boar is a lot easier to spawn. The positioning's way more forgiving. And this one we're just going to run at again. Just like that. And that's it. As soon as you have those two boars carved, you're done with boar hunting. So I'm going to do the whole thing in full real quick just to show you what it looks like when you do it without pauses. Alright. Skip all these.
Perfect day for hunting.
Run over here.
First, I need to find a tree that will provide me with spears. Yeah. Here, little boar. Come on.
Crouch. Very important that you crouch before that rock. And it's very important you don't go too far left here.
I'm on the right track.
Tap A. Run.
That's too much noise.
Tackle. Press both inputs if you can. E and Y. Or triangle if you're using a PS4 controller. Or X if you're using a Switch controller. Carve the first boar. Angle yourself slightly to the right. Tap A.
A boar. Perfect.
Make sure during this phase you don't sprint. You have to stay crouched here.
I'm on the right track.
Spawn the second boar.
I'm making way too much noise.
That's it. That is boar hunting. You are now a boar hunting expert. And don't be discouraged if you don't get the positioning down right away. It's a little weird at first, but a pretty easy section once you get the hang of it. And if you have to reset a run here because you mess up the positioning, it's not a big deal. It's right at the beginning. And this next section is very easy. Alright, so you're going to get a cutscene here that you can skip. Okay, and immediately hold up. This is just an auto-scroller. It's really simple. Every time you get to one of these flaming logs, you're going to get a button prompt. It's the same prompt every time. With an Xbox controller, it's A. So whenever you're close, just mash A. And just make sure you're holding forward during this segment. That's all you really need to do. Turn right here. It's about 2 seconds faster to take this path. Both paths will take you to the same spot, but it is slightly faster to go right. And yeah, just go as straight as you can. Mash A when needed. It's a very self-explanatory section. I don't really need to explain much here. If anyone finds an out of bounds here, please let me know. I would love to skip this part. Now we'll get an unskippable cutscene. And then we have one more auto-scroller, a shorter one, where we have to just slide down this hill. Not really any strats here, just don't die. And try to go as straight as possible. This part's really easy once you know where all the, like, death planes are. And then we're gonna get a QTE when we get jumped by the scavenger. Do the double input mash. And that's it. Alright. So now the game's gonna give us a little tutorial on how to heal ourselves and craft a weapon. And we have to do that before we can proceed. So just while you're watching, just be ready to press right on the D-pad. That opens your inventory. So as soon as you get the prompt, do this faster than I'm doing now, but press right on the inventory and just go immediately left and hold A on the boar meat until you're healed. Now press Y for crafting. Go left in this inventory. Do not go right. It's less spaces to go left. So go left until you see Jawbone Club and craft that. As soon as you're done with that, you can run forward. And take this path here. We're just aiming for this climbable ledge. Climb about here. And then what we're going to do is a small cutscene skip by facing this wall and rolling off the ledge to the side. Kind of like that. So what I did there is I actually skipped a like 5-second cutscene. It's a small time save, but definitely worth doing. Let me show you what happens if you just walk across right there. If you just do this normally, it might not actually play since, okay, it's gonna play. Auto will like stop and look around and your gameplay will be paused, and we don't want that. There's actually a strat called a sidestep. It's not really prominent in the run anymore. But it is useful here. You just skip that cutscene. Then run over here. Watch your stamina. Make sure you're looking at your stamina constantly while you're running. If your stamina depletes, you're going to have to wait a while before it starts regenerating. You want to stop running before your stamina burns all the way.
Looks like a way out.
And now we need to kill this scavenger right in front of us. And we can actually do this kind of preemptively. If we start swinging at the scavenger before he even comes up to us, we can kill him with the third hit, even though we haven't hit him 3 times. The game wants us to hit him 3 times, but the game also, if it registers that you're in the 3rd hit of a combo and that 3rd hit lands, the scavenger's going to die anyways. Let me show you what I mean by that. So 1, 2, 3. I was a little far back, so it took another hit.
That was tough.
But typically, you'll land that 3rd hit and he'll die. And watch for the items that this guy drops. You want to look for 3 different items. You want either a weapon binding, stone club head, or tree branch. Stone club head is the big one. You really, really need a stone club head. The other ones are kind of optional, but you should pick them up if they drop. I'm waiting around too long, so this cutscene's gonna pop up again. This isn't gonna happen in your run, though. So he dropped 2 weapon bindings. I'm gonna pick up 1, and as soon as you pick up whatever he dropped, if it's an item you need, run over here. You need a weapon binding, stone club head, and tree branch. And you only need 1 of each of these items. One item we absolutely do need before you get too far is that stone club head. So really keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Nearly there, Otto.
Climbing, there aren't really a ton of strats to it, but you can kind of climb optimally if you take the path that I'm taking. Just look at how I'm climbing and mimic that, and you'll do it as fast as possible.
Wow.
Alright, so now we're going to have to kill 3 scavengers. These guys can be kind of annoying because they can kind of stun lock you if you get hit. But just run to this guy, do your startup attacks, As soon as he dies, hold forward and start mashing again. Yeah, see, these guys are stun locking me. Don't reset if you do that. Just try to kill them as quickly as possible. I just want to show you what happens if done successfully. And watch for the items that they drop. If they drop those tree branches, weapon bindings, or stone club heads, pick them up. Alright, so when I reloaded the checkpoint there, that scavenger at the bottom did drop a stone club head, so I picked that up for tutorial purposes. Do keep an eye out for it though, you need that item. And I'm gonna try to do this clean to show you what it looks like. Just make sure after you kill one scavenger, you immediately hold attack and forward. And that's what that looks like if you don't get staggered. So that's what you want. That's what you want to aim for. But don't get discouraged if they hit you. That does happen, like, most of the time. Okay, this is the longest unskippable cutscene in the game. So what I'm going to do is use this as a bathroom break, and I recommend you do the same if you're doing these runs, because there's not really much you can do here other than watch. Just don't tab out here or the game will pause. Anyways, I'm going to use that bathroom break. We actually call this part bathroom break. For good reason. So as soon as the Troll and I logo comes up, you're gonna get like a brief loading screen. And then 2 more cutscenes, but fortunately you can skip those ones. Okay, so as soon as you see the like little loading wheel, you can skip the cutscenes, mash A. And now you're playing as Troll. So what you're gonna do is wait just like half a second, step forward, and try to line up these scavengers so that when you swipe to attack them, you kill all of them in one hit. If you line it up right, you'll get all of them. If not, no big deal, just swipe again. On easy, a swipe kills the scavengers one hit. So don't punch, use the swipe attack. As soon as you get them all killed, switch to auto, immediately start running to Troll, and if you can, switch to co-op. The reason being is for some reason doing this skips a prompt that has you kind of wait and have auto call for Troll. But if you're in co-op, you can just mount immediately. But make sure after you do that, you leave co-op right after. It's like a 3-second time save. I highly recommend doing it if you can. The way I do it is once auto's near Troll on my controller, I just move to my keyboard, hold forward, and then press start on my controller. That puts the game into co-op mode because it thinks I'm using the keyboard as auto. Okay, as soon as you have auto on your shoulder, run over to this wall. Also, I can't stress enough how important the minimap is. If you're not quite sure where you're going or you need a visual indicator, look at your minimap. It's very useful. Okay, grab the wall. And now let go. And as soon as Troll is in mid-air, pause the game and reset chapter. If you're not comfortable doing it from that low, I know it can be kind of hard to make sure Troll's in mid-air from doing it from that low. You can climb a bit higher. But yeah, you just want to make sure Troll's in mid-air when you drop. And while he's in mid-air, hit reset chapter, and then repeat the process. Skip this cutscene, walk up to these scavengers. That guy took a second to walk up, so I didn't kill them all in 3 hits. That happens. Sometimes the guy on the left is a little bit sleepy and he takes a minute to get up to you. But now, don't do the split screen trick. Just switch to auto and look at what they dropped. Again, we're looking for a weapon binding, stone club head, or tree branch. Don't pick up more than one of each of those, but you ideally don't need all 3. You need the stone club head, though. Ideally, you want one of each of those items. So I have a stone club head, and I see a tree branch and a weapon binding. So I'm in a really good spot here. And if, this is optional, but it is a little bit faster. If you do manage to get all 3 of those items by this point, you're going to craft a red spear with a glitch called crafting glitch. So open your crafting menu. You want to do that here, by the way. And then navigate over to the stone club. So to do this crafting glitch, basically how it works is if you have the items that allow you to craft an item, using this exploit actually allows you to craft an uncraftable item to this weapon's left or right. So with this glitch, for example, I have all the materials for a stone club, but I can use this glitch to craft a red shard spear or a jawbone club. And how it's performed is while you're selected on stone club head, hold left or right, depending on what you're trying to craft. In this case, a red shard spear. Hold left and A at about the same time. The timing's kind of weird, so practice this. But it's actually, you want to hold left slightly before A. You'll get the muscle memory down. Just practice this a few times, and if you do it right, this will happen. I crafted a red shard spear. Also look at my inputs to get a good idea of when to do that. You want to press left on the D-pad and A at about the same time, but not exactly. Again, kind of hard to explain. Just mess around with it. And also, if you can't craft this red shard spear at this point, don't sweat it. Just continue forward. The game's going to have you open the weapon wheel, or not the weapon wheel, the command wheel, and select follow and then mount. So do that. Also, I should probably tell you why we let go of the mountain and then reset the checkpoint. What this does is it puts Troll into a state that we call float clipping. Basically, the game saves Troll's position, kind of, when we reset the checkpoint. It saves his hitbox. So when he's stationary, his hitbox is kind of wide, like his arms have a hitbox, his torso has a hitbox, but when he's falling, only his torso has a hitbox. And if you reset the checkpoint, it actually saves that. So right now, only Troll's torso has a hitbox.
You know that, don't you?
And the reason this is good is because float clipping allows us to do several glitches later in the run, and I'll show that as we get to it. Alright, so now we're going to do a big glitch. It's a cool little God mode exploit. We don't really have an official name for it yet. I kind of like troll walking or troll gliding. But anyways, how you do this is as soon as you climb up this ledge, drop auto. Just hold right bumper and select dismount. And now, as long as auto's close enough to the ledge, make sure auto's kind of close to the ledge. Like here's fine. Back up as troll. Hold open this menu right here. And back up as troll. As soon as he grabs the ledge, select pick up. And that places Troll in a weird God mode state. So now he has no collision, and he can basically walk on air. You can't really gain any height, but you can walk through anything. He kind of has collision, like he'll get kind of stuck, but if you just keep holding forward, he'll walk through pretty much anything. Yeah, and you can do that anywhere there's a ledge and auto. As long as you have both of these guys and there's a ledge, you can do this exploit. We'll be doing this a lot in the run. Make sure you hold left and move forward as you do the glitch, or what can happen sometimes is you'll grab the ledge and it'll take you out of that state. You don't want that. You'll lose a bunch of time reapplying the glitch. So just to recap, dismount, hold the menu open, drop and pick up. And hold left. Just run at an angle right as you activate it, or you have a chance of grabbing the ledge. And here, now what we want to do is kind of just walk through these rocks. The visual indicator that I use is there's a quest marker in like the top left of the minimap. And like it can be kind of weird to navigate out of bounds here, but if you just kind of move towards that quest marker, you'll get to where you need to be. And as soon as you're about here, continue this way, you're going to activate a cutscene that's unskippable. You can go around this cutscene, but there's not really any point in doing it because it's just going to activate at the next fracture you see anyways. And then, don't really have a visual indicator for this, but you just kind of want to go through here, kind of to the left of the fracture on your minimap. And then to the right of this blue rock pile. And now, once you approach this ledge, just tap A, and you'll grab it. Well, you'll drop from it. It's kind of weird that it does that, but... Alright, and now we're going to want to go through here. You're not supposed to be in here, so when this area loads, everything's going to be black. But we're going to circumvent that by doing what's called load manipulation glitch. And so how this works, we're going to go through the loading screen. So the game's loaded, but I can't really do anything. Because the game doesn't want us over here. I'm actually going to wait a second and have the game spit me back out, because unless you do this fast... Actually, I might still be able to do it. Anyways, right as the area loads, you can tell when it loads by the little save wheel at the top left. Press A. That'll cause you to swipe as troll, and then hold right trigger and select left on the D-pad, and he'll pick auto up. That's the fastest way to do LMG. I'm actually surprised that worked. Usually if you wait around too long, the game will spit troll back out of the area. Yeah, let me show you that again. You can do this as auto too. If you start as auto, while the screen is black, hold right trigger, and then select, it says wait for me because he's waiting, but you can select follow, and then mount. But the optimal way, which I'll show you again. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Here, let me exit and then re-enter. Okay. So we go through here. Game loads in. Press A to swipe. Hold right trigger to open the command wheel. Press left to pick up auto. It's that simple. Okay. Now all we need to do, once the game loads in, walk down this cave, and we're gonna do the God mode exploit here now. So drop auto. I don't know if I put him close enough to the ledge there. If you don't think you do, just kind of move him sort of close. He just needs to be close enough for Troll to pick him up as you're falling. Do the same thing we did earlier, fall and pick him up. Okay, so there's one of two possible routes here, and it's completely dependent on whether or not you crafted this red spear or not. First, I'm going to show you what to do if you did craft the red spear. So if you did craft the red spear, head this way. Just follow my pathing here.
Are you okay?
There's not really much to it. Don't stand over here because you're going to activate a cutscene if you do that and get soft locked. That is a no-no. Just kind of walk around that cutscene activation and walk. We want to walk straight towards those red rocks in the distance. As you can see, Troll's getting kind of low, and if we keep walking, he's going to be like under the map. Unfortunately, doing the God mode exploit there doesn't put him high enough to just walk through the red rocks and activate the loading zone. So what you need to do is about here, don't go too far forward or you're going to drop auto through the map, and that's no good. Drop him when you're sure he's going to hit the ground. And then run over here as Troll, but tell Auto to follow you when you do that. The reason being, you could just switch to Auto and run over there yourself, but if you tell Auto to follow, he actually doesn't use any stamina. And saving stamina is good for speed. Then once Troll's about here, just a little past the red rocks, switch back to Auto. Run the rest of the way, throw the spear at the rock pile, and then tell Troll to follow Otto. And I'm not going to do it because I want to show the other strat, but then you just walk through the loading zone that's shortly over here. But let me show you what you need to do if you do not have the red spear. Okay, so if you do not have the red spear, do the God mode exploit like we did earlier. And then instead of going through that area, we're going to turn right. And you want to kind of... There's like a weird wavy spot on the mini-map. I use that as my visual indicator, like where the rocks are. There's like 2 lines overlapping. You want to go kind of through there. And then cut around that room to your left. I took kind of too wide of an angle. But you want to end up at the wall that's in front of me right there. And do this kind of fast, otherwise these enemies are going to be aggroed and you won't be able to grab the wall. Aggro works kind of weird in this game. If an enemy sees you, you can't grab walls. And now, climb the top and do the God mode exploit here. The reason we do this is because we need a little bit of extra height to get to where we need to go. Now go this way. There's an orange mark on the minimap that you kind of want to go towards as a good visual indicator. Don't go into the red circle though, because that's a troll trap and you will die if you touch it. Just kind of go to the right of it. And then just to the right of this like mountain here and towards these trees. And I like to just kind of go in between these 2 trees, like towards the middle. And it's a little hard to see, but eventually you're going to see the... I already destroyed them, so they're not on my minimap, but you're going to see like the red rock pile on your minimap, and you want to use that as your visual. And then now you're high enough. So you actually don't need the red spear to get through here, but it is faster. So if you can manage, definitely go that way. If not though, just do this. Sorry if there were any weird editing cuts. I'm getting a lot of weird glitches that I've never seen before. But once you're here, you're gonna go through this loading zone, and we're gonna have to do LMG again here, because we're gonna activate a zone that we're not supposed to be in. So swipe as troll, hold right bumper, and select pickup. And then walk towards this fracture and red crystal, and just kind of head down this path. We're just walking straight ahead. And then that's the last LMG you have to do, because the rest of the loading zones are intended. But this will put you in Mineral Mine. This loading zone's a bit longer for some reason, not quite sure why. But just follow my path here. Make a turn right here. Ignore those red rocks. That's where the game wants you to go, but we're gonna do some shenanigans to skip that. Walk between this tree and rock. You won't get staggered if you do it properly. That's optimal movement. Okay, now once you're about at this tree, face this fence, and once you're all the way pushed back into it, drop auto. And if you did it right, auto will end up on the other side. This is possible because of that float clipping trick that we were talking about earlier. Make sure you're all the way back or you won't drop him through completely. And once you're through, just walk over to this ledge,
Come over here.
climb up,
Take a look at this.
and then we're just doing more running. Go up here. Again, watch your stamina. Do not let that stamina burn or you're going to take a huge time loss. Not huge, but it'll feel slow. Okay, now grab this ledge onto your left. try to grab it like right as you get to the top of the staircase. So you're not moving. It's just less movement if you do that. And then once you're about here, you can drop. Do not drop too early or you'll land on this rail and become soft locked. I learned that the hard way. Okay. Now, do not press this button yet, but place auto here and switch to troll. We're going to perform now a trick called troll boosting. And this is done by getting rid of our float clipping. Have troll wedged in between this rock and fence and switch to auto, and then immediately once you're auto, press the button. You want to do that fast, otherwise troll's going to turn and face auto and it's going to mess up the whole trick.
Now we can get the gates open.
Okay. As soon as that cutscene's over and you're sure you got the checkpoint, indicative by the saving wheel at the top, go to title screen. Don't reset the chapter, go to the title screen. Load your game. And now, when you switch to troll, if he's right here, just kind of move him a little bit, and he'll shoot up the fence. If you're really stuck and you can't get that boost, just kind of punch. But yeah, you want to make sure he's facing
There must be another way.
the rock straight ahead, like this direction. If he's angled weird, this isn't gonna work. But once you're up here, walk along this fence, place troll about here, and then switch to auto. Okay, now go back the way you came, and we're gonna perform what's called a parry clip. This is done by abusing the parry animation to clip through objects, as the name implies. And we're going to do that with this hunter. And to perform this,
We have to move through
we
here.
run over to him, stand as parallel to him as you can. Once he's aggroed, he'll shoot you once. Okay, he shot me. That's what we want. And then he's going to switch to his melee weapon. Parry, and we're through. It's really important. That parry clip's pretty easy. Some parry clips are hard, but it's the most important thing is that you're as parallel to him as possible. As long as you do that, you'll probably get it no problem. But now you're going to end up here, and now we need to do another glitch called fall damage glitch. And this is really simple. We just want to fall down here. Normally if you do that, you would die. But if you aim with a spear and then fall, you'll be fine. Just make sure you aim the whole time you're falling. Now run this direction towards troll. We just need to reunite auto with troll now. Make sure you're pretty close to this gate as troll, or he's not really going to be able to pick up auto through the fence. The positioning here is kind of important. It's definitely forgiving, but if you can't pick him up, don't worry. Just switch to troll and reposition him a little bit. But once you do that, walk past this like wheel thing to your right and head up these rocks. The hitbox of these rocks are kind of weird. Just make sure you stay on the side and walk through this. This has no collision. Just fall down here. And then once you're at this wall, like you see the button prompt and everything, drop auto and then switch to him. And then have him stand just really close to troll or really close to the wall. Okay. And now we're going to do the God mode exploit. Instead of falling this time, we're going to pick up auto as we're climbing. So same general idea, but this time hold open the command wheel, press A, and pick up. Doesn't really look like anything happened, but now you'll see
Phew.
I walk through walls. Now, head this direction, like past this blue siren, and then through this fence. And then, again, as I was showing you with the red spear, Troll's going to lose a bunch of height and not be able to activate the loading zone that we need. So get him about here and then drop auto. switch to auto, and then tell troll to follow auto. And the reason I didn't explain this, but in this game, to go through certain loading screens, the game checks to make sure auto and troll are together, and you can't go through certain loads if they're not. So we gotta tell troll to follow auto. And if he's close enough, you will get through the cutscene. Or the loading zone. Okay, this is probably the most boring section of the game. There's really nothing to it. All you can, even casually, all you can do is walk. Just follow my pathing here. And, I don't know, take a nap or something. This dirt path is honestly kind of the optimal route to take. It's a lot more manageable if you're float clipping, but that troll boost we performed earlier actually gets rid of our float clipping. But we're gonna reapply it soon. Go to kind of the right of this rock. And then if you're float clipping, you can squeeze through that tree, but if you're not, you can't. Then through these trees. Again, really boring. You're just kind of walking. And then we want to head towards this cabin. And place auto in the cabin. Okay. After this unskippable cutscene, we're going to have control of auto.
Troll, where are you?
And then once that happens, turn immediately left and start running this way. There's healing items if you really need them here. I don't recommend picking them up. But, maybe if you're doing 100% or something, grab them, but otherwise, just ignore them. Skip this cutscene once you hit that point, and then do the fall damage glitch here. Make sure you just stay crouched here. Just walk to this ledge, aim, and fall off. And then just run straight over here. We have to cut a bunch of ropes. And do that little QTE input stacking thing that I talked about during boar hunting. And just go in a circle, cut all these ropes. It's, again, pretty self-explanatory. The beginning of the section's pretty slow, unfortunately. Okay, once all the ropes are cut, you can pull this. You can skip this cutscene, but I want to explain something. After you do skip this cutscene, you want to switch to... You're going to be playing as auto. You want to switch to troll, and then switch to auto really fast, and then have troll pick up auto. The reason being is, for whatever reason, sometimes you just can't grab the wall later in this area if you pick up auto immediately, so make sure you do this. So, what I mean by that, skip the cutscene, switch, pick up. Just do a quick switch, and this will prevent that bug from happening. Okay, now run over here, and we're going to perform what's called trap skip. So there's a trap right here, and we need to get past it. Ordinarily, you'd have to have auto disarm it, all that good shit. But there's a trick we're going to do. So if auto's on troll's shoulder, and we punch through the activation zone, it actually won't trigger. And we can bypass it completely. Auto has to be on your shoulder for this to happen, though. If you just punch through it, it's going to kill you. This is the hardest of the two to skip. But basically what you want to do, make sure you're to the right of this little gap here, and just slightly to the left of this tree. Like right here, punch. I don't actually think I got through that. But, once you do that, pick up auto again. Let me show you... Actually, this is good because I can show you what to do if you don't think you're through it. If you don't think you're through it, no problem. Just pick up auto again and punch again, and you'll move forward more. Now I'm definitely through it, so I can pick him up. I guess I wasn't definitely through it. But anyways, you get the idea. Doing that slow just completely screwed me up. But
Watch your back. We've got a fierce one here.
what you want to do is essentially that.
Get Nico on the radio now.
I do it a lot better when I do it fast. So there. Sometimes auto is too far away from troll to pick up. Yeah, it's much easier when you do it quick. Doing it slow also eats up a ton of your momentum, and you won't go as far when you punch.
Hey,
Sometimes auto will be too far away from troll when you punch. If that happens, instead of selecting pick up, just select follow and then mash pick up, and he'll pick him up. Okay, now head this direction, and there's one more trap we need to skip. This one's hard to see, but again, use your good old mini-map to tell where the trap is. It's that orange circle straight in front of us. Not this one, but the one kind of over here. And just get a feel for it. Use the mini-map to guide you. And run up. Punch about here. Actually not sure I got through that. I think I did that a little too early. Okay, no, I'm good. But yeah, there's a trap right there. That one's a lot easier than the first. And now we're going to get a checkpoint, so we're going to reapply float clipping. And we're going to do that with this ledge. So grab the ledge, drop mid-air, reset chapter. Okay. And now that we're float clipping again, so there's a pitfall trap here. The game wants us to climb around it by grabbing the wall. But if you're float clipping, you can run at the wall and just bypass it completely. Your angle here is the most important thing. If you're not angled correctly, you're going to fall through the trap anyways. The angle's kind of weird to explain. Don't stand completely parallel, but mostly straight and at a little bit of an angle. Just like that. Just try to mimic that as best you can. It's pretty forgiving. And then walk up to this wall. And then, you know what walls mean. That's right. We're going to God mode XSplit again. Then the rest of the section is pretty easy breezy. Drop auto. You know the drill by this point. Drop and pick them up. And then, I don't really have a visual indicator for this, but you want to walk out of bounds right here. And then make sure you're to the left of this rock wall. And head straight ahead. And enjoy the funny animations of Troll's feet shooting into his body. And grab this wall once you can. You have to be pretty close to it to grab this one because Troll's pretty low by the time you get there. And that's it. That's the Hunter's Tense section. And next is the Achy Boss section, but we actually have a full skip for the Achy Boss now. The beginning of this part is just a lot of walking. This whole section's actually a lot of walking. Just make sure you're taking the path that I am. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Kind of through these rocks. To the left of this fracture. And across this bridge. It's definitely the most walk-heavy portion of the game. Alright, once you're out of this cave, hang a left, grab this wall. Grab it to the right if you want to climb this wall optimally. Just hold up, and Troll will climb where he needs to go. And then we're going to use this ledge to, you guessed it, God mode exploit. Drop auto immediately. You really want to drop auto fast there, or he won't be next to the ledge close enough. Do the old you know what to do, and then turn left. Do not stand right here. You're going to activate a cutscene that is unskippable, and auto's going to be placed over here. Do not step right there. You want to walk this way, but yeah, just be very mindful of that activation. It's kind of hard to see where you're going here, but I will show you a quick... If you see this wall, you're going the right way. Just go as straight as you can. And you want to be to the left of the wall. So for some reason, out of bounds here, there's just a random tree. You see it down there. And it will pop up on the minimap, and I use that as my indicator on where to go. I just kind of go slightly to the right of it. Thank you, tree, for guiding us. There's like all these squiggly lines too. Just make sure you're to the left of those. There's a red crystal. Make sure you're to the left of that. And then you can see on your minimap there's a just long pathway, and that's what we want to touch. Right here. Don't go too far ahead past the loading zone, or your game will actually crash. Make sure you like
Really have some hygiene problems.
properly activate the. There's a zone here that checks to see if auto's with troll, and you want to make sure you like fully go through that. Don't cut corners too much here. And that's it. We just completely walked around the boss fight that's super annoying. Oh, okay. So this next trick involves float clipping. One thing I should mention about float clipping, if your game crashes or you back out to the main menu, it gets rid of float clipping, so you have to reapply it. But assuming you still have it, walk over here, skip this cutscene, pick up auto immediately, and as soon as you pick him up, start backing up as troll and like angle the camera left a little, like so. Like that. And then once you're all the way back and you can't move anymore, drop auto, switch to auto. If you did this properly, you'll be like stuck in this rock kind of. It's a little bit of an out of bounds. And you'll be able to climb this rock. If you can't climb that rock, you probably didn't do it right and you're not out of bounds. Okay, and now we're going to do a sidestep off this rock to get back inbounds. Just kind of look this way, and as you're running, roll. And I did do that right. Sometimes if your trajectory's off, you'll land on the hood of this Jeep and get soft locked, and that's no good. Sometimes you'll land on the top of this, that's fine. But sometimes you won't go far enough and you'll still be stuck like in this wall here. If that happens, don't sweat it. If you walk up to this tree when you're in there and carve it, it'll spit you out of bounds, or spit you back inbounds. Ideally, you want to bypass that and just roll right inbounds, but that is an option if you fuck it up. You'll also notice auto takes a pretty good chunk of fall damage after doing that. If you want to be really safe, you can just eat the boar meat to top yourself off. I don't do this because it's slow, but you can if you feel like you need to. But yeah, once you're where you need to be, run this way. Since we did a skip, all the AI of these hunters is completely off, so they're not even going to see us, which is pretty hilarious. Just cut these corners here. I burned my stamina. That's something you don't want to do. And then go through this house, then out this doorway. And then once you hit about at these boxes, it's a little bit further, you're going to hit a cutscene, and that's going to warp troll to auto. Skip it, Switch to Troll. Don't pick up Auto. You actually don't need him for this. You can just run through all of this. And make sure you do this fast. Since I paused there, I might not have actually done this fast enough.
That's where I need
But run through here as quick as you can, and then mash Y once you hit this door. And then you'll see Auto just warps to you. So don't pick up Auto. There's no point. Okay. Now switch to... Or don't switch. Move forward as Auto. Stand about here. Switch to Troll. And then pick him up. The reason you want to move forward first before picking up Auto is if enemies are too close by, Troll just will not pick him up. So you need to be a short distance away from them before you do so. And that is the first part of Hunter's HQ. Okay. Now... Oh, okay. That was weird. I thought I got like a weird LMG thing. But there's going to be 2 cutscenes. Skip those and then do the QTE input thing on this guy. And he's going to drop some items. We really, really, really want him to drop a tree branch. That did not happen for me. I got pretty unlucky. The reason being, even if you picked up a tree branch earlier, you need a tree... Okay, you don't need, but you really want a tree branch here. Once you load this section, the guards take away all your weapons, and tree branches are classified as a weapon. You'll see we still have the stone club head, but we have no tree branch. So we really want him to drop one. If he doesn't, don't worry. You still have another chance in this area to get one. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, after you kill that guy and pick up the tree branch or not, just put Auto by this door and then switch to Troll. Head this way. If you're still float clipping, just walk through this door. And then walk through this door. It's really hard to see where you're going, but once you get the muscle memory down, it's pretty easy. Again, minimap is your friend. Look at your minimap. And then pick up Auto through the door. Once that happens, go back downstairs. Navigate as best as you can while not being able to see anything. And then at this doorway, stand to the right here. And then face Troll's back to it. As soon as you're all the way back, similar to what we did in Mineral Mine, just going to drop Auto. And if you did it correctly, he will be out of bounds. And then walk him over here. And once we're back in bounds, you want to walk back in bounds right here.
Who owns
Walk into this doorway real fast and then walk back out. The reason being, there's enemies in here that we want to spawn because one of the enemies has the key to your mother's cell and we need that to get out of this area. But they don't spawn unless you go through this doorway. You can tell they've spawned once the red dots appear on your minimap. Like the 2 in front of me here. So yeah, just poke your head in really fast and then grab this wall. Grab it to the left as much as you can to save time for yourself. And then make your way down here. Cut this corner, grab this ledge, and drop. Now, there's a hunter here, and we want to get his attention. Once the eye turns red and you know he sees you, walk into this corner and crouch. And then wait. He's gonna completely lose sight of you, even though he's right there. As soon as he turns around, stealth kill him. And then he did not drop a tree branch, which is unfortunate. It's not the end of the world if that doesn't happen. You can still get one from the final fight, but ideally you either get one from those 2 hunters. I'm going to show you the rest of this section and then off recording get them to spawn a tree branch so I can properly show you how the final fight should go. But yeah, just be mindful of that. Try to get a tree branch. Make sure you pick up the key that he drops. As soon as you do that, bring Otto over here by these like red barrels, and then switch to Troll. Walk towards Otto. You can tell where Otto is by the green arrow on your minimap, and then pick him up through the wall once you can. Again, all of this is working because we're float clipping. And now we're going to drop him back where we initially picked him up at the start. Okay. You want to be really careful when you drop Otto here. You want to make sure you're super parallel to this wall, or Otto will just fall through the ground.
Hey,
and make sure you're as far back as you possibly can go. Once you're sure you're good, drop Otto, and he will get through the door. Again, if your angle is even a little bit off there, Otto will just fall through the map, and you'll have to reset the checkpoint. But if you do that successfully, you can run down this way,
Mother?
skip this cutscene, turn right, and then run to this door. And since we have the key, we can free Mother.
Can we?
Okay, so after you free your mother, you're gonna get this unskippable cutscene, which is really amusing actually, because Troll's still there and he actually swipes at that hunter.
What's going on?
Good shit.
Help the others out.
But anyways, after this section, after this cutscene, you're going to be brought into the final fight, the last part of the run. All right, immediately skip this, switch to Troll, run about here, and then bellow. The reason we do that is because that destroys 3 alarms that if we don't destroy, these guys are going to turn the alarms and like infinitely spawn hunters, and it's going to be stuck in this unskippable cutscene, and you really don't want that. Let me show you that again. Just make sure you destroy the 3 alarms on the ground. So go over here, bellow. The visual indicator I use is, see all this metal on the ground to Troll's right? I just make sure I'm like past the reddish brown one and like next to that gray tile. It's really forgiving though. Just go over here. As soon as you bellow, switch to auto, pick up 1 weapon binding. Do not pick up another one yet. Assuming you got a tree branch in Hunter's HQ 2, you can now create, or you can now craft a red shard spear. If you did not get a tree branch, you can switch to Troll and just start killing hunters and look at the items that they drop. See how they're dropping items? Familiarize yourself with what the tree branch looks like and try to get one. That's the best thing you can hope for if you still don't have a tree branch. So I'll go over here. If you're really, really, really desperate, something you can do is instead of making red spears, you can craft blue ones. If you grab a green shard, you can go into crafting. Well, you need, so you need a couple things. You need a green shard, and you also need wooden spears. This is really not a strat that I like, and I don't recommend you do this, but it is a last resort. As soon as you have that, hello. Yeah, and then the hunters see you. It's just not good. I'm just gonna show you what to do if you can make red ones. I don't recommend you do that. Okay. Assuming you have the proper items, grab 1 binding. Using our crafting glitch, make a red spear. Grab another binding. Repeat. And you want to do this until you have 3 red spears. The reason you don't want to pick up all the bindings at once is if you have all the bindings and craft a red spear, it's going to use up all of them because typically a red spear costs multiple bindings to craft. But using the crafting glitch, it's only going to use 1 if you only have 1. So just make sure you only have 1 binding in your inventory. As soon as you do that, run over to this tree and carve it. Something I recommend when you're first starting out, as soon as you carve that, go over here and grab this machete. Ideally, you won't even have to use this, but it's nice to have if you mess up the next strat. But yeah, as soon as you've done all that, you can switch back to Troll and just kill these hunters as fast as you can. There's a little bit of RNG here on where they spawn. Like, as you can see, this guy's behind cover, which is super annoying. You just kind of want to coax him over here. And don't swipe the hunters. The hunters don't die from swipes. Make sure you're using the punch attack, which is X on the Xbox controller. And make sure they're really, really close, and Troll will do that stomp attack. And that stomp attack pretty much guarantees you'll hit them. As soon as Nico spawns, watch where he spawns, because he'll spawn in different spots. As soon as Nico spawns, switch back to auto, run over to him. So there's 3 spots. There's that spot, there's that bridge, and there's there. Since he's over here, this is actually good. That's where you want him to spawn first. Throw a wooden spear at him. Now equip the red spears by opening your inventory. Walk auto kind of over here and crouch. The reason you crouch is because if you're not, auto will kind of run off and try to help Troll, and we don't really want to reposition him. If he's crouched, it'll pretty much guarantee he'll stay there. Again, just kill another wave of hunters as fast as you can. And then one more wave of hunters is going to spawn. Start clearing them out. If they start hitting auto, that's okay. Alright. I'm going to reposition auto a little more. Okay. Be quick as soon as that last hunter dies. You need to make sure you switch to auto. Run next to this red crate here. Look down at this shadow and aim your red spear at about here and wait. This cutscene's gonna play. As soon as it's over, throw your red spear. And if you aimed it right, every enemy except for the 2 armored guys on your left are gonna die. If you did it right, look to your left, and then aim between the 2 armored guys. Throw another red spear. Nico's gonna spawn, but ignore him for now. And now, what we're gonna try to do is skip a cycle of Nico coming up. Typically, he'll spawn 3 times. But if we do this trick right, he'll only spawn twice, and it saves a ton of time. So to do this, as soon as we clear out all those enemies and Nico spawns, as auto, aim right here. I did it. I'm doing it a little bit slow, so I kind of messed it up. But let me show you where you need to aim. It's like there's a line in the back of this. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a line in the back of this crate here. And you want to aim to the left of that, like just barely to the left of that line. And as soon as that second wave of orcs spawn, just chuck the red spear. If you don't kill all these enemies in one throw, you're not gonna get the Nico cycle skip. It's impossible. You have to kill all those enemies. It's not the end of the world if you don't get... Well, it is the end of the world if Troll dies. But that's okay, because I'm going to show you what the skip looks like. Yeah, don't let Troll die in your runs. But if that happens, just run over to Nico, throw the spear, kill the orcs, and then the third Nico wave will spawn, and you can just throw another one at him. It's not a cycle skip, but you can still complete the final fight. All right, I'm going to edit this part and show you what the proper cycle skip looks like. Troll move. Okay. I think I got it. Yeah. Okay. So, optimally, he spawns on the bridge, which wasn't where he spawned right there. But if you're quick enough, you can still skip the cycle. You just really have to run to him and throw that spear. Definitely practice this. It's pretty difficult skipping that cycle, but it's very much worth doing because it saves a ton of time. Optimally, he will spawn on that bridge, though. You have a lot more time to throw the spear if he does. And if you did that right, he will come rolling in on his Jeep immediately. And the run is essentially over now. We just need to throw a spear at him. And as soon as we do that, timer stops. And that's time. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. I'm sure this route's going to change. It always does, but subscribe to Troll and Ice Central. We're always posting speedrun strats and clips and all sorts of good stuff on there. You can also ask me or Kevin any questions you have regarding the run on Discord or Twitter or wherever. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.